Welcome to NTD News and a very Merry Christmas. I'm Stephanie Cox. Here are today's top stories. World leaders offer their greetings to people around the world for Christmas. Volunteers showed their appreciation for firefighters sacrificing their holiday to help others. In Hong Kong, pro-democracy protests continue with riot police firing rounds of tear gas at protesters and scuffles in shopping malls. And the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says pet store puppies could be the source of a drug-resistant infection, making people sick. President Trump released a Christmas message today, sending his greetings to anyone celebrating Christmas in the U.S. and abroad. He reminded Americans that although the challenges may be great, the bonds that unite us are greater.
The President and I want to wish each and every American a very Merry Christmas.
At this sacred time of year, Christians celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and rejoice in His love for every person. We give thanks for the millions of Americans who come together to care for others with compassion and bring the warmth and bliss of this holy season to our families, our friends, our neighbors, and to those in need.
As we gather with loved ones this holiday, Americans across this land are grateful for all the men and women in uniform who keeps us safe, our military, our police, and everyone in law enforcement.
We say a special prayer for those military service members stationed far from home, and we renew our hope for peace among nations and joy to the world. On behalf of the entire Trump family, we wish everyone a joyous and Merry Christmas and a very happy New Year.
And President Trump and the First Lady attended a music-filled Christmas Eve service at the Southern Baptist Convention affiliated family church in West Palm Beach, Florida last night. Brief sermons and readings by clergy were interlaced with traditional Christmas songs.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Mr. President, Merry Christmas.
Pastor Jimmy Scroggins and his family greeted the Trumps as they arrived at Family Church in West Palm Beach. They received applause and cheers as they entered the church and sat down. It was a change of pace for the Trumps. They attended holiday services in the past at Episcopal Church Bethesda by the Sea in Palm Beach. They were married at the church in 2005.
It's Christmas Day, and households around the world are celebrating with presents, food, and religious services.
Christmas time is here again, and the holiday spirit can be seen from the Vatican
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
to the little town of Bethlehem. Leaders from around the globe sending best wishes this season.
Whatever we're doing, Christmas is a time to celebrate Christ's message of compassion and show people we love them.
It's that special time of year when, whatever has gone before, we can take an opportunity to celebrate all that is good in the world and to spend time with our friends and family.
And although Christmas is considered Christianity's most popular holiday, it's also a secular event starring Santa Claus, who took in a little water skiing on the Potomac River Tuesday.
The key is to stay up on the skis. As long as we stay up on the skis, there's not a whole lot of water coming on.
Santa Claus does, of course, get a little help with the presents under the Christmas tree. American shoppers were expected to spend around $730 billion this holiday season, according to the National Retail Federation. That's about a 4% hike from 2018.
AAA expects nearly 105 million Americans to drive somewhere between December 21st and January 1st, and that unusual travel times will double or triple on the day after Christmas. And 60 miles south of the border with North Korea, U.S. troops today held a Christmas feast. The festivities were missing just one thing, though: family.
U.S. soldiers at Camp Humphreys in South Korea were served a special dinner on Christmas Day, with all the trimmings of a usual festive feast, but thoughts wander to home.
It's one of those times, especially around, the Christmas time, it's festive and you think of family, and being separated from my wife is rough.
Dozens of troops gathered for roast meats and gingerbread cookies. The hope is that comforting foods will ease the burden of missing loved ones.
And the meal was actually really great because it reminded me of things that were being made back home.
The decorations and the chance to dress up bring a little holiday cheer.
So the sweater, I got this from my mom. It was a gift for me leaving to come over here.
Almost 30,000 U.S. troops are based in South Korea for its protection against North Korea. Negotiations on North Korea's denuclearization have stalled. For soldiers stationed here, the assignment is sure to continue into the new year.
The military today conducted a dignified transfer for a soldier of New Jersey who was killed in Afghanistan several days ago. A member of the Special Forces, he was just weeks away from finishing his military career.
The body of a U.S. Special Forces sergeant who died in Afghanistan was sent to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware on Wednesday. Military personnel brought his body from military aircraft to an awaiting vehicle in what is known as a dignified transfer. National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien and Army General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, also attended the dignified transfer. 33-year-old Michael Goebel was killed in a bomb blast during military action. He was on his final tour of duty and was set to return home for military service in a few weeks. A Taliban spokesman said the terrorist group killed Goebel. Goebel was a New Jersey resident and father of a 6-year-old girl. He served as part of Operation Freedom Sentinel. The operation started in 2015 to keep terrorist groups with aims towards the U.S. from setting up bases and to train Afghan forces to handle their own domestic security concerns.
South Australian firefighters continue to battle the devastating Adelaide Hills bushfire. The generosity and commitment of those fighting the blaze was recognized by a group of volunteers who made them a meal as a thank you.
I saw the call out and I thought, you know what, that's the least I can do with the situation. So I was happy to quickly whip up a few dozen cupcakes and contribute.
A Christmas meal served up by volunteers and the Salvation Army to those battling the wildfires in southern Australia. The blaze outside continues to burn through 62,000 acres of land. Slightly milder conditions are predicted for Wednesday and Thursday. This could allow the firefighters in Adelaide Hills to gain an advantage before a heat wave expected over the weekend. Dry, scorched land with thick smoke billowing. The fires have destroyed 84 homes, hundreds of other buildings, and claimed 1 life. The volunteer firefighters have given their time and energy to support the fire service across South Australia.
I've been able to hide my pride in the volunteers. The efforts are immense, and for many of them they've sacrificed a family Christmas to come out and protect the lives and properties of strangers they'll never meet.
The kindness of the human spirit is burning brightly this season.
Christmas is traditionally a time for feasts, presents, and time with family. But some people across the pond are celebrating Christmas in a cooler way, throwing themselves into chilly water. Here's a look at a holiday tradition that's gaining popularity.
It's an increasingly popular tradition in the UK. Brave swimmers jump into freezing water in festive costumes to celebrate Christmas.
I don't feel wet because I'm so cold, but it's actually a really pleasant feeling. It's tingling, feel warm all over now, it's lovely.
It was cold, but it was fun. It was a very good turnout, which was lovely.
Christmas Day swims take place across the UK every year. Some do it for charity, others believe there's health benefits to it, and some do it just because it's a holiday custom.
Because we're going to jump in that cold thing of water over there. We're not sure why, but it's just what you do sometimes on Christmas Day.
Baxton participated in the Christmas Day race put on by the Serpentine Swimming Club. He said he did it to honor his great-grandfather who participated in the same event 130 years ago.
It's very cold in there, and I'm not getting addicted to it. I do it for the pleasure of the club and for the memory of my great-granddad.
The race, called Peter Pan Cup, has a history of over 150 years. The competition got its name when J.M. Barrie, the author of Peter Pan, competed in the event in 1903.
860 square feet of delight, a miniature town in Poland made of gingerbread that took months to build.
A train made of chocolate running through a city made of gingerbread. More than 30 Polish artists worked together to create this festive spectacle, from houses to a windmill, a church, and even a castle, made with 3,689 gingerbread bricks.
Have 3 people sugarcoat it for 4 months. You'll get it done.
This gingerbread city has a population of hundreds of gingerbread people, animals, and trees, along with a smiling Santa greeting kids who are waiting for presents. All handcrafted with a simple recipe: a ton of dough, 350 eggs, 230 pounds of honey, 70 pounds of spices, 66 pounds of sugar, and a smidgen of coloring. It took 3 bakers and 4 months to create this masterpiece, and the result is now proudly on display as one. This gingerbread wonderland can be seen in Gliwice, Poland until February 28th.
Up next, a Chinese researcher tried to sneak 21 vials of biological samples out of the U.S. and was arrested at a Boston airport. We bring you the updates from recently unsealed court documents after the break.
I have traveled all over the world to 50 countries now, and I have never seen a production any better than this, anywhere.
It's absolutely out of this world.
It's blown away my expectations.
It was just a superior performance that truly could bridge the world through music and dance.
Startling and breathtaking. We haven't had quite an experience like that in all the years that I've lived here, so it was special for us.
I think that I learned more in this performance than I actually do in a whole week of school.
The beautiful costumes and people just float. The choreography is incredible, and the storyline, beautiful, beautiful.
It's so beautiful. I'm getting teary-eyed watching. It's very moving. You feel it. You're feeling the show.
It's like a mini vacation that transported me into another place, into another world, into another culture.
When I came here tonight, I felt very dejected about the human race, about everything going on in this world. During the performance, I just felt now there is hope for each of us individually, as well as for all of us collectively.
Shenyun was more breathtaking, more heart-wrenchingly beautiful, more amazing than I had expected. It's very difficult to put into words, actually. You just have to come see it.
A Chinese medical researcher was arrested in Boston after he allegedly tried to smuggle vials of a biological material on a flight back to Beijing. That's according to court documents that were unsealed last week.
A Chinese national, Zheng Zhaosong, was questioned at Logan International Airport on December 9th. Customs officers found 21 vials containing a brown liquid wrapped in a plastic bag hiding in his sock. Agriculture specialists identified the Chinese national as a high risk for possibly exporting undeclared biological material. Zheng confessed to stealing 8 vials from a research lab at Beth Israel Hospital. The 29-year-old doctoral student faces charges of making false, fictitious, and fraudulent statements to U.S. Customs. The U.S. has already enhanced scrutiny and tightened visas for Chinese researchers and doctoral students in certain fields due to the concerns about intellectual property theft.
Christmas Day in Hong Kong brought more tear gas and pepper spray as riot police clashed with pro-democracy protesters who gathered at malls and in shopping districts.
The protesters flooded the streets of a popular tourist district and also held rallies in nearby shopping malls. Undercover police violently clashed with protesters.
I hope the police will stop firing tear gas. It will only trigger more conflict when you fire tear gas towards a peaceful crowd. I think we should continue the protest in a peaceful way on Christmas, which is another form of celebration.
This year's Christmas is much worse than previous Christmases, and also the riot police were shooting and beating people randomly.
Flash mobs turned up at numerous malls.
We are here not to destroy anything, but we are trying to let everyone to know that we won't celebrate the Christmas because we want to protest even on this joyful day.
Pepper spray was also used in at least 2 malls as police and protesters clashed. Multiple young demonstrators were detained. The hospital authorities said 25 people had been injured overnight, including one man who fell from the 2nd to 1st floor of a shopping mall as he tried to escape the police.
Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen urged Parliament yesterday to have more discussion on a proposed anti-infiltration bill. The government says it's needed to combat Chinese influence on the island.
Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, has begun a renewed push for the legislation. Taiwan's main opposition party, the Kuomintang, has condemned the proposed legislation as a political tool of the president and her party. They say she's just trying to gain votes while painting her opposition as Chinese Communist Party agents. Tsai says that other countries have already passed similar bills and that compared to other democratic countries, Taiwan is more directly confronted with infiltration by China. Parliament is scheduled to vote on the bill next week.
Up next, the CDC says pet store puppies could be the source of a drug-resistant infection. More on that after the break.
Viewers have described China Uncensored like The Daily Show, but about China.
At the beginning, I was super excited when I got 500 views, and now the show's grown to about 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. One episode reached 7.9 million people. I'm a little freaked out that that many people have seen my face. In 5 years, I see China Uncensored as the sole source of edutainment worldwide.
Puppies usually bring up warm, fuzzy feelings, but according to the CDC, puppies from pet stores could be making people ill.
A warning for those who might be considering getting a puppy for Christmas from a pet store. The puppies might be responsible for a recent outbreak of a drug-resistant infection. According to the CDC, over 30 people have been infected with Campylobacter. Officials issued a statement saying evidence points to contact with puppies. Many cases involve people who had contact with puppies at pet stores, including Petland. The CDC has not yet been able to pin down a specific supplier. The infection is typically associated with food poisoning. The symptoms include diarrhea, stomach cramps, and fever. Most people will recover on their own within a week. Right now, there have been no deaths linked to the infection. Keep yourself healthy by washing your hands and taking a new dog to the vet for a checkup. The CDC will provide updates when more information is available.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved a new drug for migraines this week. It is said to be safer for people with cardiovascular disease than other migraine drugs currently on the market.
The tablet is called ubrogepant. It's for immediate relief from migraine pain for those who either can't take or don't respond to current medications. According to the American Migraine Foundation, 1 in 5 women in the U.S. and 1 in 16 men suffer from the migraines. Symptoms include headaches, sensitivity to light and noise, and nausea. A recent study shows that nearly 1 in 5 of those given the drug were pain-free in 2 hours, and almost 40% were relieved of symptoms like light and noise sensitivity. Currently, the most commonly prescribed class of migraine drugs on the market are often not safe for those at risk of cardiovascular disease or stroke. That's because they work by constricting blood vessels around the brain. This new drug instead targets a protein involved in the transmission of pain.
A police officer in Australia saved a choking baby just before Christmas Day. CCTV footage captures the moment 2 young parents frantically ran into the Perth police station shortly before midnight on Tuesday, desperately looking for someone to save their child's life. The 8-month-old baby, choking on some food, couldn't breathe. Acting Sergeant Jason Lee rushed over, took the child from her dad's arm, performed CPR, and saved the baby in a matter of seconds. His heroic action saved a family's Christmas and much, much more. And coming up, 2 movies hit theaters today, one based on the classic novel Little Women, and the other Spies in Disguise, an animated comedy about opposites who team up to save the world. That and more after the break.
Factual,
honest news.
Not biased, but completely straightforward.
You're not emotionally going up and down.
Bringing morality back to newspapers.
The honest, old-fashioned journalism.
You're presenting the facts and letting the reader decide.
The Epoch Times is a fearlessly independent news media that publishes in 35 countries and 21 languages. Truth and tradition is our motto. Founded as an antidote to communist propaganda, today we're quickly becoming a household name across America. Our subscribers thank us for our relentless and unbiased coverage.
I've been part of the Epoch Times for nearly a decade because I've seen there's no other major media outlet in the world as devoted to real journalism. The Epoch Times has never had any corporate or political agenda. We only serve our readers, and we'll stay that way, no matter what.
We connected the dots around Spygate, the Obama administration's elaborate efforts against Trump's 2016 campaign. We often break news months ahead of other media on topics such as Chinese espionage, cyber warfare, subversion in America, and more. But our authoritative reporting didn't only just begin. We are tried and true.
Our paper was born out of the need to respond to a human rights catastrophe in China. It was enabled by the Communist Party's vicious and dishonest propaganda. We soon learned that Western media were picking up and amplifying the lies. The Epoch Times' truthful reporting exposed the Communist Party's lies for the Chinese people. But it also helped protect our Western audience. It disabused for them the lies in this propaganda. Our reporting has also helped uncover how communist ideas are taking root in our own country. The Epoch Times started as a small and unknown publication in one of the toughest media markets in the world. We have built it through hard work and trial and error.
We were founded in the year 2000 in Atlanta, Georgia, by Chinese Americans who had fled communist China. Our independent reporting came at a price. Our staff members in China were jailed and tortured for their reporting, some for as long as 10 years. Because our founders believed in truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance, the principles of the spiritual practice Falun Gong, they felt such sacrifices were worth it to ensure for the world an independent, honest media, one that would report on the most pressing issues of our time. As many major media are losing people's trust and declining further every day, the fastest growing newspaper in America delivers truth and tradition. Look us up today.
With the holiday season in full swing, celebrities share their favorite festive traditions.
Christmas is a time of family, and celebrities have their favorite traditions.
I love Christmas more than anything, so I'm all about the decorations. Trees, lights, garlands, as much as I can get up, the better.
Game of Thrones star Emilia Clarke says her family has a few Christmas traditions.
One of which is opening all the stockings all together in my parents' room in the morning, which is just adorable and will probably continue until I'm 60.
For others, like BBC series Sherlock's actor Andrew Scott, it's about the food.
My favorite festive tradition is really just eating a lot of carbohydrates.
It's something Ghostbusters director Paul Feig agrees with.
Food, eating. I'm really into turkey, gravy and stuffing, and mashed potatoes. So I got that, I'm happy.
As for The Rock, his favorite tradition is more about family.
Honestly, just watching the babies open gifts and coming downstairs and seeing what Santa brought the kids. When Santa visits, that's the best part about it, because I'm a big kid, so I just live through my kids.
Decorating the house, opening stockings, and gorging on festive foods are a few of the favorite things celebrities do during the holiday season.
2 new movies hit theaters today, one based on the 1868 classic Little Women and the other Spies in Disguise. Little Women is a new look at the tale portraying 4 sisters during the Civil War. Spies in Disguise is an animated comedy about 2 spies saving the world.
A classic story, Little Women, showing in theaters for the first time on Christmas. The new movie features renowned actresses Meryl Streep, Saoirse Ronan, and Emma Watson. Author Louisa May Alcott's 1868 classic novel, Little Women, depicts the adventures of 4 sisters in New England during the Civil War. Critics say the storyline can be read as a romance or a quest, showing to the value of virtue over wealth. This is the 8th movie based on the book. Director Greta Gerwig says she's bringing a fresh perspective to the beloved classic. Another family-friendly movie hitting the theaters on Christmas, Spies in Disguise, directed by Troy Kwan and Nick Bruno. The animated comedy features the voices of Will Smith and Tom Holland. It also stars Rashida Jones, Ben Mendelsohn, and DJ Khaled. The film is about the quest of a suave super spy and a nerdy scientist. They have opposite personalities, but when things take a turn, they are forced to work together to save the world.
And that's all for today's news. Thanks for tuning in. From all of us here at NTD, wishing you and your loved ones a very Merry Christmas. I'm Stephanie Cox.